Welcome back, CCM Magazine family. I'm Christian Johnson, and I'm so glad to be back with all of you. And of course, we've got another great interview for all of you, like we always have. None other than the man himself, Mike Weaver from the group Big Daddy Weave. How you doing, sir?
Man, doing good, man. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so excited to have you here. You guys have had much success, and one of your most recent has been with the new song. Well, I guess it's not necessarily new anymore, but with Katie Nicole, you guys had "God Is in the Story,"
Oh man,
and that song is touched me personally. But
thanks, man.
did you guys expect it to hit so big and to blow up the way that it did?
Well, I was just blessed to get to be on it, man. Katie wrote that song, and man, I'm telling you, it was just after my brother, who was the bass player for Big Daddy Weave, passed. Man, we were just in a place where we were just reeling from, man, just the shock of it all. And
Mm.
Katie reached out to us, and she shared that song with us. And bro, that it just spoke right into our situation, man, right into our life. And I just, to get to then be part of that song with her and to hear how Jesus has used that song in the lives of other people. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake, man. The song already was ministering to me, and it's so cool that God used it in the lives of other people too, man. So neat,
Mm.
man.
I always love when I talk with people and they always talk about how the song first ministered to them, because I think
Mhm.
that's the most important part of it. If it
I
doesn't
think,
minister to you, it can't reach anybody else.
bro, that's exactly right. That's the reality of the song, and that's what it was for us, man. It really was like it was just right on time for us, man. It's been a beautiful part of the journey, man. A difficult journey, but a really bright spot in the journey.
Right, right. And you mentioned the passing of your brother, Jay. And I know for you, it kind of hit you probably in a double fold way because yes, he was part of your group, but he was also literally family, somebody you grew
Yes.
up with. So, with you being able to, would you say that you kind of use music as an outlet, and worship as a form of healing for you, or what would you say has been something you've been able to lean on in this moment?
You know what's been amazing, and at first I did not think it was amazing. So when Jay passed, it's like, we don't even know what to do. We're just like hurting, and we're just beginning that grieving thing that we don't even really know how to do. But really, the fact that however many weeks later we had to go back to work, because it's not only a ministry, it's also our vocation, and so we have to go to work. And so I'm out there every night talking about something a lot of nights I really didn't want to talk about, but it was just like it was forcing me to face that and going through the process of grief. That was a huge part of that, was having to talk about it every single night. Also seeing other people who are dealing with the same kind of stuff that we're dealing with. So much loss in this last season that we've seen, man. And even as we're sharing and people just have the sense of, hey, we're not alone in this, we're in this together. That was a ministry in and of itself. But having to talk about it is what helped facilitate my process of grief all last year. And at first I was like, how can you even do this? But on the other side of it, I'm like, man, I'm so grateful for that process and for so many people across the whole country who really kind of helped us walk through that. It was a blessing, and it really confirmed in me also, the body of Christ, the family of God, is not just a token family. It's a true family, and we have really experienced that in this last year.
Yeah, wow. Well, prayers are still definitely with you. I know that's nothing
Thanks,
easy
man.
to go through, and especially to continue to minister to others. I think that's such a special calling. But
Thanks, man.
speaking of grief and people having to go through that, you guys also wrote the song "Heaven Changes Everything," and
Yeah,
that
man. Come on.
alongside the great Matthew West and Jeff Pardo. So tell me about that experience working with them, and what is the overall message you want people to get from the song?
Yeah. So literally, when we went into the writer's room, it was like, it was only weeks after Jay had passed. And
Wow.
the first part of the write was literally them just letting me fall apart.
Mm.
But this is what I love. And, Jeff and Matthew both are, incredible songwriters, but they're really amazing friends too, man.
Mm.
So they gave me the space to do that, but at the same time, they're there to catch that. And it was like this documentation of just the certainty that, like, we're not grieving like people who don't have hope. You know, we are grieving, and that's important. Like, you should not stiff arm that at all. But man, we're not grieving like somebody who doesn't know that heaven is real and doesn't have the hope of Jesus in their life. And that's really kind of where the song came from, was that realization. Like, how does somebody even deal with this if you don't have that hope, you know? And then it became a desire to share that hope, even when we were in the place of grief in that way, you know? And so those guys, man, just really, I'll be forever grateful to them, man, in this process. And it really began that day. Matthew just kind of just sat and let me talk for a long time, which I can do. I've been known to do. And so, you know, but at the end of it, he literally just lists off like 9 titles. And he goes like, dude, this is not just a song. He goes, this is like a record, you know, what you're talking about. And it really has been an amazing thing, man, to experience the nearness and the friendship and the camaraderie of like the greater Nashville songwriting community, man, because everybody just sort of leaned in and is helping us walk through this over the last year. And I can't even tell you how grateful I am, man, for those relationships and friendships and them ministering to us when we needed it most. Now, going through that and being, I feel like, kind of on the other side of it. It's not like we're always going to miss Jay. We're always hurting it to a degree. But man, there's something about when you go through the process, there is another side to it, man. And there is a healing. And I feel like we've really experienced that this year. So we're excited to go back and share the entire journey that we've been on with people. And hopefully that will speak into maybe the part of the journey that they're in right now, you know?
That's awesome. And you said you're a talker. I am too. I feel like I've known you for a while. I can tell it's just like a kindred spirit. You're such a kind person. But you were mentioning the greater Nashville area and working with folks. You know, here in Nashville, of course, we recently dealt with a terrible shooting. There are a lot of people grieving even right now. So what would you say to people that are going through that process as they try to process what's going on, as they're trying to heal? Of course, these songs can speak to that, but what would you, as somebody who's just dealing with grief, what advice could you give?
I'm telling you, well, I just say this. I would try to say very little, you know? I just, you know, there really aren't words for this kind of stuff. But I'll tell you what maybe ministers more than anything is just being there, you know, being there with them. You know, we can't fix it, but we can go through it with them. And I feel like we are doing that, you know? I mean, our entire city felt that loss, you know? Just absolute evil, you know, absolute confusion, absolute, you know, all of the things that come with that. But it really just, it contributes also to what, like, the entire world, you know, the Bible talks about the whole world like groans, you know, the earth groans, like, for things to be set right, man. And man, there's going to be a day when these things that have been so wrong are going to be set right. And it's by the one that we worship and the one that we are getting to know better every day, the one who's faithful to be with us, even in the things that we can't explain, man. Jesus is with us in the midst of all of this. And he said this, he said, blessed are those who mourn. That seems unthinkable to even like use that word in the same sentence, right? But he says, because they're going to be comforted, and he's the one who backs up that promise. And so, man, we're just, our prayers and our ears and our arms, we just want to be present, you know, with our community right now, and so many who are hurting, you know? And so you know, if I tried to say something, I would say the wrong thing, I think, you know what I mean? So our effort is just to be there with them, man, you know, and we're here with them. We're here together in this.
You know, you said exactly the right thing. Sometimes it's just best to be there. And I appreciate you for that. And the last thing, and I'm gonna let you go. So what's next for you guys? What else can we expect from Big Daddy Weave coming up very soon?
Man, we've been loving it out on the road. I mean, God's just been moving every night, man.
Wow.
And I've just been seeing, there's so much hope in that for me, you know, just seeing that Jesus is so willing to be present, man, in these rooms that we've been in. We're just worshiping him, man. And you know what? There's something about when you worship him, there's something when you're aware that he's with you. all of it goes away for a minute. You know what I mean? Doesn't
Yeah.
mean you're not going to hurt again, but there's just it's like a medicine, man. It's a medicine for me. God's presence is a medicine. And I feel something stirring in our country, and you hear about it on college campuses. I hear about it even in younger age groups, man. I ran into a bunch of middle schoolers the other day that were just like on fire, like the fire of revivals, like on these kids, you know? And I'm like, now that is something I could use right now. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so hopeful, man. There's so much hope in the Lord, and we're encountering that as we encounter people all across the country right now. It's my favorite thing right now, man.
That's awesome. Well, once again, thank you for your time, and tell everybody where they can check out your music and follow you guys, and we'll get on out your way.
Absolutely, man. You're not in the way, man. You're here. I've loved this, man. Thanks for taking the time. No, and yeah, everything Big Daddy Weave, BigDaddyWeave.com. It's the hub to all things Big Daddy. You know what I mean? So it's good. Come and join us. Come and find us. Love it.